what influenced you in music? Because your style isn't really like the traditional Chicano rap or West Coast. You know, it's kind of got like a trap kind of sound feel to it.
That's how I wanted to do it, because I figured like these Chicano rappers are doing it like this, and I was a real hustler. Like I was really pushing dope. So I'm like, man, I ain't finna do songs like these cats. And at that time, like, you know, that's when Young Jeezy first came out. So I was already hip on that trap sound. Like I was bumping him before he signed a Def Jam and blew up. So I was already doing, you know, wanting to do trap music. And yeah, man, like if you listen to all my old shit, it got a different sound than what was around at its time, you know. And I never wanted to be classified a Chicano rap. Cool, like I understand I'm Chicano and I did rap, but like I always, and it didn't bother me if you labeled me that. I didn't give a fuck, but I just didn't want to sound like a Little Rob, a Capone, cats like that. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to be a street hustler making trap music.
And do you feel like, looking back on your career, do you feel like that was the right direction for you to go at the time?
Definitely, because everyone's doing it now. The sound that I was doing 10 years ago is what the fuck these motherfuckers are doing now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got people that are more freely expressing their stilo, their lingo. Like, you got even Mexicans saying the N-word now. You know what I'm saying? In their raps, you know. So, like, I never said that in none of my music. I never said the N-word. But like I grew up in Pasadena, and there's a lot of Bloods in Pasadena, so we were cool. Our neighborhoods were like right in the same area, so I grew up around a lot of them, and I was cool with them. So I've always had this lean going. Now, like back in the day, people used to hate on me. All my peers, you know, they'd be like, "Oh, he's trying to sound black. He's trying to know." And it's not that I'm trying to sound black. It's just I grew up in that environment, and this is how I talk. You know, so that's why I said in the beginning I was never Orale, Chale, Simon. I know fluent Spanish. I know how to read it, write it, speak it. But I've always been myself. I never faked it. I never was somebody that I wasn't. I've always been who I am.
How do you feel about the new generation using the N-word a lot?
I don't know, like to each his own, man. Like to me, I don't care how you speak. I don't care if you call me that word. Like it doesn't bother me. It might bother other people, but it don't bother me. Like that shit don't faze me. Like if they want to use it, they can use it. I just advise peers, like if you're gonna be a Mexican Hispanic rapper, you need to understand like a lot of Mexican Hispanics, some of them use the word, some of them don't. So when you come out saying the N-word, you're already going to have a lot of criticism from people that don't even know you. So my advice is to these cats is don't use it in your songs. You know what I'm saying? You want to get a fan base that's going to fuck with you, you know what I'm saying? Instead of right away get turned off because you use the N-word, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'd advise y'all don't do it, man. It's you know, however you talk is however you talk. But when it comes to music, you know, I would make a suggestion to my peers or to any musician, don't use that word. Because especially if you're Mexican, you got a lot of Southsiders and Sureños that don't use that word. You know what I'm saying? So when you use it, you already just fucked off potential fans.
So you think it turns a lot of people, especially the older generation?
Yes, it turns off. It does. You know, so like I said, I don't care. Like you could use the word, you could call me that. I don't care. Like, but it's different when you're trying to come up and you don't want to have criticism off top. And that's what you're doing when you use the word. Like I said, man, to each his own. You can use it, whatever. But I'd advise my peers in music not to.
I remember back in the day, at one point you signed to Mack 10.
Yeah.
Or with Mack 10.
Yeah, I was signed to Who Banging Records. You know, that was kind of like how do I say this without, like, yeah, you have to be careful when you do stuff like that, man, when you sign to other artists, man, because if you're a boss artist, like, when I say boss artist, if you're independent, like, and you go sign under another artist, you have to understand you're not priority because they want to be a superstar too. You know what I'm saying? So whatever, they're always gonna put more time into themselves as opposed to, you. So an advice to up and coming artists, like, if you're gonna sign to somebody that's not a rapper, that's a businessman that wants to push you. You know what I'm saying? That's not trying to push themselves. You know what I'm saying? I ain't talking bad or nothing like that. It's just I felt like I would have had a bigger push if I was with a businessman, signed under a businessman as opposed to signed to another rapper.
So Mack 10 was still, at this point, when you signed to him, he was still hot.
Shows. Yeah, he was still hot.
He was still doing a lot of shows and out there doing a lot.
Yeah, and he would always take me with him. He'd always invite me. He'd take me on sitcoms, pilot shows. We'd go out to eat dinner sometimes. But like I said, man, I was an artist signed under another artist. And them artists are never going to push you harder than they push themselves. You know what I'm saying? So, but shout out to Mack 10, everybody at Who Bangin'. At that time, it was me, Glasses, Exhibit, Mitchie Slick. Who else was signed to Mack 10 at that time? I forgot, man, but it was a bunch of us, and like I said, it was good on paper, but it never manifested.
You never dropped anything on Who Bangin'?
No, I gave him an album, the brown print. You know what I'm saying? He paid for all the production. He paid for all the studio time, the features, and everything. So once it was done, I presented it to him, gave it to him, and he just sat on it. Never put it out. So it's a hot-ass album to this day, man. Man, a lot of people ain't heard it, man.
Did you put it out?
I didn't put it out, man, because, like, I didn't pay for it. Mack 10 paid for all the studio time and everything, so I was just like, here.
And he wouldn't let you, you didn't try to press it up and sell it out your trunk or anything?
Come on, like, you can't press up an album that, why am I going to spend my money? Let that dude spend his money. I was still working, though. I was still putting out my own individual projects. You know what I'm saying? I put out the Business's War, the Gangsta Governments, and all that. But like I said, he sat on that project. That project had fucking Mack 10 on it, Glasses, J-Rock. It had Snoop Dogg on it. So yeah.